extract data based on a specific value or a specific column from the data source, and how we can extract the lookup field values. It could be text or ID. So let's start it. This is my backend SharePoint list, all the data source. I'm going to extract data from this list. These are the application hosted on my server, and I'm going to trigger an email to the application owner. So for this, first we need to fetch the application owner's email ID, or I could say I just want the application owner email ID from the whole data set. So how we can do this? Let me show you. Come here, click on Instant Cloudflow, give it a name, extract JSON. I'm going to trigger it manually. Now search for get items to retrieve data from the backend SharePoint list. Select a site address, your list name. My list name is hosted application. I want to fetch all records, so the maximum count for the get items is 3000. Define it. This is the whole data set of the SharePoint list. Search for select. Now what we are going to do is we will extract just single column, that is application owner email ID, and further on we'll remove the duplicate entries from this column. As you can see here, there are repetitive users, test1 user, test1 user. Count is 87, and the chance is there could be a single user with multiple applications hosted on my server. So the data source is the output of previous action. Click here, and what we want app owner email. Search for the display name of your column. Next, what we want is, I'm including compose because as I explained, there are duplicate entries. To remove duplicate, we need to write this function union, and what is the data source? It's the previous output, and I want to compare with the same data source. Click on OK. Now let's test it. Our flow ran successfully. So this is the select operation. If you notice here, there are repetitive email IDs, and in the next we removed the duplicate entries. These are the unique values in the list. Out of 87, there are just like 6 to 7. We can also include length function to find out the length of the output, which we will do in the later part. So now we have the application owner email IDs. So this is how you can extract the data of any specific column using select, and to remove duplicate you can use compose with union expression. Now let me test it again. Actually I executed this to get the raw output of the get items so that I can show you how we can iterate the JSON object. Just click on the output, click to download, and this is the raw output. Go to Json Formatter, paste your output here and click on process. it will format your JSON object so that we can read properly. So this is the JSON object. We don't want any information from the header. We want, let's say, the titles of each application. So simply you can, instead of this, you can pass the title. It will select all the titles from the backend list. Now let's do one quick exercise. Let's find out, let's say, how many applications are hosted by this particular user on our server. I want to filter data based on this application owner. Let me copy the email ID. Now come here. To filter data based on specific value, select filter array, and array to filter means from which data you would like to filter the data. This is our main data source. So select it, value. From value is referring to the whole list, backend SharePoint list. We want to extract data. What data you want? We want item here is referring to this object. From the item, extract, if you look at here, item is targeting to the value. Value is a type of array. Anything which is in the square bracket, that means it is an type of array in JSON object, and if something which is in the curly braces, that means it is a type of object within the JSON. So to fetch data, what you have to do is, item is this item we want. From this, what we want the email IDs. Based on email IDs, okay, I'm sorry, I was typing this in the dynamic content. We need to type it in the expression, then click on OK. When email ID is equal to this, give me the count. Now to get the count, what you have to do is click on the compose, click here, go to expression, search for length function and the output of your previous filter array. Now let's see what is the output. Click on save and test. Our flow ran successfully and the total application hosted on my server by this user, Programming Corporate, the count is total 10. Now let's verify from the backend list. Now let me apply the filter. As you can see here, these are the 10 applications hosted by this user on my server. So this is how you can filter data based on any key or any column or any specific value. Now let's do another exercise to filter out data further. So let's say we have a process. On annually basis, we send email to application owner to audit their hosted applications on the server, and if there is any change, kindly update in the backend list to keep details updated. Our primary point of contact is the application owner, but let's say if in case the application owner is out of office or left the organization, this could be a case, I'm just assuming, then we have certain other fields: secondary application admin, and secondary application owner. So we will keep these three fields in CC. In absence of application owner, on behalf of him, they could take the required action to complete this exercise. So overall what we are trying here is we are extracting data based on the application owner's email ID, and we are extracting these columns, three columns: secondary application admin, and secondary application owner, to keep them in the CC. And remember, we don't want to duplicate any user. As you can see here, these are the duplicate values. So such cases are many in the list, so we need to take care of that. So how we can do that, let me show you. Come here, we already extracted the email IDs of application owner, who is the target, or we are going to keep him in the to field. Now we need to extract data of these three fields for the CC. So click here and search for apply to each. Why we are including this? Because we want to iterate the output of this unique email IDs of application owner one by one, and based on the application owner email ID will fetch the data tagged to this application owner of these three columns. Now come back here and provide the object on which you want to iterate. The object here is the output of compose. So here is the compose. Next step is to filter data based on the incoming ID from the data source. This is our data source. So array to filter provide the main data source, which is value. We want to filter out data from this. We want to filter data from this, and what data we want to filter, we need to extract the values of three columns. Our other point of contact in case of primary owner is out of office. So how we can do this? Write this expression item, which is targeting or referring to this item. In item, what I want, if you go here in item, the internal field name of the application owner is field 3. I want data from field 3 and compare this data with the incoming unique email ID of application owner, so that it will provide the collection of hosted application by the specific application owner. Similarly, like uh, we did this exercise here for the single application owner, but we want to send email to each application owner whose application are hosted on our server. So now let's execute it. Our flow ran successfully. As you can see here, this is the output object. We filtered row based on the application owner's email ID. Now let's include length expression to see the count of hosted application by application owners. This is how you can get the length. Now let me execute it again. Flow ran successfully, and let me check the output for my first application owner, and the count is 10, and first item in our array is this application owner. And now if I go back to the list and if I apply a filter on application owner, so the count is 10. So this data is correct, right? Now let's verify for the second object. Second here is the test user 1 and the count is 16. 16 applications are hosted by this particular user. Now let me apply a filter on test user 1. Let me copy it from here and paste it. Test user 1, apply. Count is 16. So now we have the collection of all the hosted application by application owners. The next step is to extract the email IDs of these 3 point of contacts. So how we can do this? Simply copy this and search for Json Formatter to format this. It would be easy to understand the structure of the JSON object. Now if you notice here on the structure of this object, it is the type of array, then curly braces means object, collection of object, these are the objects. So what we want here is we want to extract the values from each object of secondary application owner, secondary application admin, and similarly secondary application admin. So let's start with the application admin first. Click on edit. Compose is for the length. Now search for select. We want to select from this output, basically from this output, what we want to select? We want to select collection of admin email IDs. Item, again item is referring to this object, and from item what do you want? I want the application admin. If you notice here, application admin, the type of this column is people or group. By writing this expression, we are targeting this object. In this object, what we need email ID. You can select anything. Let's say if you want claims or display name, picture, department, job title, any element you can select, but for now I'm selecting email. Just like this. Provide it email and click on OK. You can rename it like this. Rename collection of app admin, something like this. Now let me test it. Our flow ran successfully. For the first application owner, programming corporate, total hosted applications on server are 10. Out of 10, we have selected the application admin field. Now let me go back to my list, and when I apply filter on programming corporate, as you can see here, these are the values from other 3 fields. Some are blank and some are present. So this is the output, and if you notice here, there are duplicates. To remove duplicate, what we need to do here is you can simply select compose, and using union we can union the output of the select. Click here, flow ran successfully. Here is the count, total 10. These are the extracted application admin email IDs of each application based on the primary application owner, and these are the unique value. Similarly, for the second application owner, for second it is 16 application hosted, collection of app admin, and these are the unique app admin. Null will deal with the null in the end before sending the email. Similarly, we can extract the email IDs of other two fields. We just extracted application admin based on the application owner. Similarly, we'll extract secondary application admin, secondary application owner. Give it a name, unique app admin. Similarly, repeat these steps to extract value for the remaining columns. Search for select, rename it, collection of secondary app admin. Data source is again the filter array 2. We have selected the wrong output. Let me scroll down so that we can see the available outputs. Body, yeah, this is the correct one. Now what we want from item, if you come back here, and we want this object. Now we are targeting, by writing this expression, we are targeting to this object. In this object I want email IDs. Let me scroll it further. Now email, okay, copy this and similarly paste here to extract the unique values. Rename it, secondary app admin. In union, rewrite the expression for our secondary application admin, something like this, and update. By doing this, we can extract secondary application owner, secondary application admin email ID. Similarly, we can repeat this for the secondary application owner. To do this, select this object, come here, copy it to the clipboard, go to my clipboard, collection of secondary, rename it because this is the secondary application owner collection. Now here, come here in expression, target item, again we are targeting to this particular data source. Now what do you want? I want to extract Okay, I guess there is some copy paste error. Let me copy it again and paste it again. Yeah, this is perfect. And from this object, what I want email. Again, this is also a person or group type column. Click on OK, click here, and if you want to get the count, I don't want to see the count. Similarly, remove that. Now let's test it. Flow ran successfully. In our flow ran successfully. Programming corporate is the first element in our array. Now let me check the values for the first user. Total application hosted on server 10. Yeah, that is correct. App admin. This is the whole collection. Let me check the unique values. Okay, no duplicate values in the unique app admin. Now let me go back and test it. If I look at the unique values, there are 3: Mike, test user 1, test user 2. And if I look at the output, this is the whole collection, unique app admin. These are the 3 values that are correct. Similarly, unique secondary application admin, test user 4, and the null. Okay, there are few null records as well. This is for the secondary application owner admin, secondary application admin, apply filter. These are the 4 values including empty. Yeah, again this is also correct. Now for the secondary application owner, there are multiple nulls, and the user, we didn't include this action unique for this. Let me do it quickly. Unique secondary, let me rename it unique secondary owners. Okay, in union, go to expression, write it again. For the targeted output, click on update, save it. Now test it. Flow runs successfully, and this is the output of secondary application owner, unique values. Now let me apply filter here. These are the 4 values. This is how you can extract data based on any specific value or column. Now let's remove null. How you can remove null from an array? Search for filter, include filter array. After including filter array, provide the from object, from which object you would like to remove null. So let's say this is our object, unique secondary application owner. Output of this, from this item, let's say if come here in the expression and write this expression, if this item is equal, if this item is equal to, is not equal to null, then provide me the, return me the collection, basically array. Let me test it quickly. flow ran successfully. If I look at here, input was including null, but the output is without null. So this is how you can exclude nulls from an array. Now let me do this step for the other two collections, for application admin and secondary application admin. Just copy it and application, paste it. Similarly for the application admin. What is the output? Output is unique application admin, collection of secondary app owners, unique secondary app admin. Okay, unique secondary app admin, right. From item, just exclude the null records. Unique secondary and here provide the output of unique app admin, something like this, and let me test it quickly. So this was the input and the output is without null. Similarly for the other two fields, null has been excluded. Let me show you. So these are the output. Let me do it quickly, one more step, to combine the output of all three arrays into single. To combine it, what you have to do is search for compose. We just want the unique values, right? This we discussed initially. So just include union and the output of this. We want union values from filter array 5, filter array 3, filter array 4, filter array 5. Just do it quickly. Filter array 5 we already selected. Search for 3 and 4, filter array 4 and filter array 3. Click on OK. Now test it. So these are the unique values for the CC for programming corporate user. Similarly, these are the unique values for test user 1. If you notice here, these are the values of secondary application admin and secondary application owner. Now we can quickly send email to them. One more quick thing, we need to append the output with semicolon so that we can pass that object directly in the CC field. We want to join the output of this with semicolon and search for send email. Send email to our primary point of contact is the application owner, which is on which we are running the apply to each. Here is the apply to each. And for CC, you can select the join, output of join, which contains the entire string of secondary application admin and secondary application owner. And subject, you can write anything, and well, and we'll review process. Hi app owners has been initiated. Kindly review your hosted application and if required update the details. Thanks. Okay, now we are good to go with our exercise. Click on save and continue. Our flow ran successfully. Let me go back to my mail. Here is the email. So this is the received email. As you can see here, the target person was Raj Parihar, and if I look at the email ID, this is the email ID of user, programming corporate, and in CC, these are the secondary app owner, secondary app admin, and the app admin, but no duplicate values, right? Now the next, which I'm going to demonstrate here, is how we can extract the values of lookup field. In my list, I have a lookup column with the name platform and the multi-selection is allowed. As you can see here, platform, C#, ASP.NET, Java, multiple selections user can select from. Now let me fetch the data of the lookup column. So what you have to do is click here and I want the data for each user. What is your data source value? From this I want to extract, search for compose, go to expression and write items apply to each. From this, get me the object platform for each hosted application. This will provide me the object of platform, basically this, it will return it, and from this what I want value. So how I can select value? Search for select, go here, and the data source is the compose 5. What I want lookup text. You can write this item and come here, select it, paste it. Okay, I want lookup ID. Come here in expression, Let me copy this element. Okay, click on okay, and let's execute it. Our flow ran successfully. Now let me come here. So this is the value which we selected, lookup text and the lookup ID. This is for the first item in the list. For first item, if you notice, there are two values, C# and ASP.NET. Similarly, we have the output C# and ASP.NET. Now let me show you for the second item. For second item, we have Java, Power Apps, Python, Sharepoint, and if you will come here we have Java, Power Apps, Python, Sharepoint. Let me show you one thing quickly. If you want to just select the text, then how you can select the text of the lookup. Again, the output is the compose 5. Let me scroll quickly, compose 5, and click here, go to expression, type item, what you want, just the value element. Let me confirm, yeah, capital V, and test it. Our flow ran successfully, and these are the values for the first element in the list, and this is for the second element in the list. This is how you can extract data from a complex JSON object or array very easily without using apply to each. With minimal use of apply to each, you can extract the data what you want by using the data operation. If you like the video, kindly subscribe the channel and kindly comment and like.